Girl, tonight we're gonna make love. You know how I know? Because it's Wednesday. And Wednesday night is the night that we usually make love. Monday night is my night to cook. Tuesday night we go and visit your mother. But Wednesday we make sweet weekly love. It's when everything is just right. There's nothing good on TV. You haven't had your after-work social sports team practice, so you're not too tired. Oh, it's all on. You lean in and whisper something sexy in my ear like, I might go to bed now, I've got work in the morning. I know what you're trying to say, girl. You're trying to say, oh yeah, it's business time. It's business time. It's business. It's business time. I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say it's time for business. It's business time. Ooh, it's business. It's business time. Oh, yeah. Then went in the bathroom, brushing our teeth. That's all part of the foreplay. I love foreplay. A shake, a shake, a shake, a shake, a shake, a shake. Ow, ow, ow. And you sort out the recycling. That isn't part of the foreplay process, but it is still very important. Next thing you know, we're in the bedroom. You're wearing that baggy old ugly t-shirt you got from your work several years ago. You know the one, baby, with the curry stain. I remove my clothes very, very clumsily, tripping sensuously over my pants. Now I'm naked, except for my socks, and you know when I'm down to just my socks, what time it is. It's business. It's business time. You know when I'm down to my socks, it's time for business. That's why they call business. It's business. It's business time. Yeah. Make a love. Make a love for. Make a love for two. Make a love for 2 minutes. When it's with me, girl, you only need 2 minutes. Because I'm so intense. You whisper something sexy like, is that it? I know what you're trying to say, girl. You're trying to say, oh yeah, that's it. And you tell me you want some more. Well, I'm not surprised. But I'm quite sleepy. It's business. It's business time. Business hours are over, baby. It's business.
And good morning. It is Wednesday, and you know what that means. That is the day that me and Jeffrey usually make love. And here we are on a Wednesday, on time today. And I don't know why I'm talking like Barry Manilow, but here we are. Jeffrey, how are we doing today, buddy?
It's kind of sultry. I didn't really mind it. I mean, you know, sounded okay.
Maybe I could talk like this a little bit more today. And see
I'm doing, man. I'm doing. How was your week? How was your Mother's Day this weekend?
It was good. Obviously, I didn't get to see my mother. She's still down south. But we took Maureen out, and she had a nice dinner. We went to where did we go? We went to
the Yachtsman.
Apparently, I went to the Yachtsman. That's
did you
odd.
not?
I guess. Yeah, I think so.
How did you not know?
Jeff, I have enough trouble remembering if I took a poop in the morning or not some days.
What does that matter though? Like the morning shit doesn't matter. You know, like you don't have to remember that unless are you like logging it for some reason? Are we at this stage where we have to log our
maybe at my age
now for the doctor?
Yeah, maybe that
Jesus
is the
Christ.
case. Maybe I need to know exactly when my movements are happening for health reasons, Jeff. Yes, maybe that is the reason.
Eat more
But
fiber.
anyway,
I don't know.
I did, dude. I'll tell you. Hashtag ad Metamucil. If you guys are out there, I'd love for you guys to sponsor the podcast. You know, I went away from it, and you know, it just I had to go
I tell
back.
you what, you know, speaking of hashtag ads, I feel like my social media just advertisement is either Hims or Blue Chew. That is like
No,
all
that's not just you. It's not
That's
just you.
all I'm getting right now. And I'm like, what marketing bracket did you guys take over that you are just pounding me, no pun intended, with, you know, ooh, just take a mint. I'm like, yo, chill.
Have your man pop a Blue Chew. If I
Yeah.
see that one more time, dude, to the point where to what you're saying, I've actually gone through and blocked those ads so I don't see them, like, so they stop showing up.
I don't know how to do that.
It's if you just click on like the 3 dots on the right on Facebook anyway, and then you can say block ad, and then it'll say why, and then I say repetitive, and then it doesn't show it again. Yeah, it you know, those commercials just in fact in general is something else. Like you'll be sitting on the couch, right? And then it's a commercial and be like, does your man have erectile dysfunction?
Right.
Can your man not last long enough? Are you not satisfied in the bedroom? And every time I just look over, I'm like looking at her, like just seeing the reaction, just seeing if she's buying into this shit.
She's just sitting there eating a candied pecan.
You know, I feel bad for the guys that actually have the issue, right? That actually can't perform, or premature ejaculation, whatever the hell all that is. Like, I feel bad for it. Imagine sitting there, right? And maybe it's like this unspoken thing where, like, maybe your wife or girlfriend just kind of accepts it. That's just who you are. And then you're sitting there, and all of a sudden, this dude or this woman on television is telling you, you don't have to put up with that anymore. If your man can't satisfy you, have him pop a Blue Chew.
Yeah.
Awkward.
I do wonder though.
What? They work. I've had some, not Blue Chews.
Blue Chews don't work?
No, they work. I popped one of those little blue things before.
Ah, yeah.
Almost had to go to the hospital. Woo!
Lamar Odom style.
I wish
Moving
they were
on.
around in my 20s. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was like, man, if I was at Florida State, anyway. Anyway.
Anyway, so we did
yes.
have a little, so the weekend was great. That we actually I'd never been to that place before, the Yachtsman. It actually wasn't bad. I'm not a big eat a steak out kind of guy anymore, just because the steak that I cook at home is just too good. I am going to toot my own horn. It's just too good. That Boathouse seasoning is hands down just flavor profile central. I can cook it perfect. It's I know it's prime meat. It's not cheap, but it's just great. So, you know, I'm very, very skeptical when I go out. We split the bone-in ribeye, 22-ounce bone-in ribeye.
Yeah.
Which was really good. But I don't know. I feel like when I cook it at home, I have a flavor profile, right? Like, I mean, it's just, there's flavor just punching me in the mouth. And I just don't get that when I go out. But it was a very good dinner. We had that, a little bit of lobster, and then
I hear they have a good steak there.
It's okay, man. It's okay. That's all I can say. It's okay. But I didn't realize this. Apparently, like Bianca and obviously both our parents work there. They get that coupon booklet, right? Where you get 50% off there. I mean, I'm just saying, if the employees, obviously. I'm just thinking, my God, like, I mean, the steaks are a fillet is like $70 for a 7-ounce fillet, which if it's prime, that's okay. But you know the meat. But now it's only $35. Okay. And I don't have to cook it. Yeah. I was like, Bianca, where's our coupons? Give me my coupons. But yeah, there's a shit ton of them. So it would be something I would go there to do. I'm not a big fan of eating anywhere on Disney property, to be 100% honest with you. Unless it's like a third party, like your place. Amazing. But I don't know if that's
third party, though. We're not even affiliated with Disney.
Correct. But I'm just saying, I don't even know if that's, I was going to say, I don't even know if that's really considered Disney, but it's right there, right? It's in the Disney bubble.
It's funny. Disney does not own that land. It's like the one little strip that Disney doesn't own for some reason.
A developer owns that?
Yeah, and so
I
if
can
you
only imagine what the rent is or the lease for those lands.
go into any of those hotels, there's no advertisement for Disney whatsoever. Any of the Bonnet Creek hotels, because you're legally not allowed to. So you can transport people to Disney and pick them up from Disney, but you can't advertise or have Mickey Mouse anywhere or anything like that. So,
Wow.
yeah, just different rules, and whatever is what it is.
Justice, yeah, I'm very finicky when it comes to certain prices, especially on steaks. And yes, I am living paycheck to paycheck. I'm living day by day by the click of the mouse
You
from
don't know about
9:30 to 10:30.
paycheck, but
Yeah,
whatever.
I definitely don't have a paycheck, but I guess I pay myself, which I am going to toot my own horn here for a second. I am literally at the end of this week. I am ready to start withdrawing. So big shout out to me. 37 straight green days. We're looking good. Looking good.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Very happy I made that. But Justice, I'll tell you what, next time I see you, I will bust out my wallet to buy you a beverage. I will do that.
You're gonna do it in
Maybe.
Boston? That's where he lives.
No, I'm just saying if he's ever around. See how I protect myself there?
I do.
Well, let's get into it. The NBA playoffs are definitely heating up. Unfortunately for Justice, his Miami Heat, I don't know if we've spoken to you since then. Your Miami Heat definitely did get knocked out, and now it looks like is going through some serious turmoil down there in Miami with Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley going back and forth. We did talk. Did we talk about that last week?
I don't think so.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, Justice, while we got you here, since we're going to talk a little bit about the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler comes out and says, if I was playing, we would have beat the Miami Heat or beat the Celtics, which at the time he said it, before Pat Riley or anybody chimed in, I was like, why would you even say that, bro? Like, you're not playing. That would be like saying, okay, well, if Jordan, Shaq, and everybody else teamed up, nobody would dominate them. Well, that's great, but guess what? That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it was interesting that Pat Riley was talking about, I guess it was his end of the year conference and, kind of like what the future is going to hold. Not only did he question Jimmy Butler's contract and whether or not he would even extend him due to his health, he told him he should just shut his mouth because he wasn't on the court. And I absolutely love this out of Pat Riley. This is old school basketball. This is put your money where your mouth is. If you're not on the court and your actions can't perform, then he's absolutely right. You need to shut up because you weren't there to help your team, regardless of a freak injury or not. I'm not saying that you should be out there playing hurt, anything of that nature. But how are you going to sit there and say, well, if I was playing, we would have won? Well, if I would have had the winning numbers of the lottery, I'd be a millionaire.
What do you expect him to say, though? We would have lost.
What was the question? What was the question?
I have no idea, but I'm saying, like, if you're Jimmy Butler, you're supposed to say, well, even if I played, we would have lost anyway. And Pat Riley would have been like, thank you for at least being honest.
Well, first of all, I don't even know what the question was. But if it was something of like, Jimmy, how do you feel the series would have gone if you would have been on the court? Then I would have said, well, obviously I feel like I would have improved my team's chances of winning, but I wasn't on the court. So therefore I can't comment on it. I mean, but again, we've talked about this numerous times in reporting and how many stupid questions there are. And if that was the question, Jimmy, how do you feel if you would have chances would have been if you would have been on the court? That's a stupid question. So if anything, all of that, if that was a question, we don't even know. But yes, so that's just a stupid question to ask. Kind of like when somebody gets their balls kicked in and loses by 30 or something, and they sit up there and be like, where do you think it went wrong for you tonight? Bitch, we lost by 30. It went wrong everywhere.
Yeah, like the Pacers last night. Yeah. Listen, I think they'll work it out in Miami. If not, Jimmy will be on the move. Maybe they rebuild. Maybe they get other free agents. I don't know. I mean, I know that no matter what happens, Miami's always going to be more appealing than Orlando in terms of playing basketball then. So,
I do feel bad for Orlando. I feel bad for Paolo. I feel bad for Franz and all of those boys. It just gets no love, bro. No love. I was actually talking to some people about this at the card show last weekend, and it's just like, even Shaq, man, as dominant as Shaq and Penny was, their market just It just doesn't work. It's just a small market team, man. And then Shaq goes on to LA. Of course, he teams up with Kobe.
I think
but
things are a little bit different now. Like you can still see superstars and stars in places like Minnesota and Oklahoma City, and stuff like that. Even Denver, I mean, obviously Denver's a bigger market, but I mean, Jokic, 3-time MVP, Jamal Murray, seems to be a playoff closer.
that team
I
is
think
just stacked, bro.
which team?
The Nuggets. I mean, when we were playing fantasy basketball, I think we had Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and somebody else all in our starting,
Jamal Murray.
Yeah, in our team, which Jamal Murray is obviously something of itself, but that team's just stacked. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll let you finish your point there about the exposure level.
Yeah, it sucks because like people, you feel like as a Magic fan, you have to constantly overpay to convince people to come live here in Orlando, and then people come live in Orlando, and no matter where they go, the rest of their career, they keep a house here or they keep their family here, or you know what I mean. And it's just like, what the fuck, like. I don't know. I feel like we need to find somebody who wants to build a family and who wants to, I don't know, not live a Miami lifestyle, I guess. But it's,
I mean, there's nothing.
And these guys who are millionaires many times over, who have a chance to go to Miami and play and go out in nightclubs and see the most beautiful women that they want every single night and get their dick wet. I mean, who am I to tell you no?
Well, I think it kind of correlates to what you just said there. Who wants to come here with a family or start a family, right? So it'd have to be kind of a family man. Because, like, as you pointed, if I'm single, why am I going to Orlando versus Miami?
And if you're a piece of shit and you have a family anyway, you might want to go to Miami anyway and just cheat on your wife the entire time. So you have to have a great character person too.
It's a tough sell, man. It's a tough sell, and for a city that wants it so bad, man. I mean, Orlando has a really good fan base, to be honest with you, for a transient town. I would say better than Tampa Bay, to be perfectly honest with you. At least what I've seen from the Rays and the Bucks. I will say the Magic when Golden State was here, that was a little iffy. There was a lot of Golden State fans there.
You see it with the Knicks too.
Yeah. So, but on the same token,
Boston, even at Celtics games, these are a lot of Boston fans.
Yeah, it's still going to be a little bit transient, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. To Justice and your point, I do believe Pat Daddy will figure it out. I mean, that guy he seems to be brilliant. I mean, look about that. I mean, Miami lost the series, but they were competitive, and they were competitive without 3 of their best players, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean, they also draft really well all the time. I mean, if you look at it,
Spoelstra's just an amazing coach, dude. I think Pat Riley's probably one of the best executives out there. I think that Eric Spoelstra is probably one of the best coaches out there. It's not like you have a scenario where you have in Phoenix where you're just trying to glue superstars together, throw a coach in there and hope shit works out. As we just saw, once again, Frank Vogel fired again after 1 season in Phoenix. What was he, 2 seasons in LA? I mean,
Mike Budenholzer, if I believe correctly.
Yeah, that is their target, which just to me also just seems kind of funny because Milwaukee's like, nah, you're not good enough. And they moved on from him and then fired that coach. It's just.
And they fired Adrian Griffin after having the best record or the second best record in the East.
I just feel like players now, we've always been very quick to point out LeBron, right? And which coach is LeBron going to get fired now? Whatever. That's just something. But I think it's a cancer throughout the entire NBA. There was reports of that Kevin Durant didn't talk to Frank Vogel for over a month. Didn't talk to him. Come on, we're grown men here, right? We're making millions of dollars, grown men. You guys can't figure shit out to talk, work it out.
I've never liked Frank Vogel ever since he was.
I know. I remember when he went to LA. I'm like, oh, he's not good enough for the Magic, but he's good for LeBron. Whoa!
I remember when he came into Boathouse, and I go, "You don't take a thing off his fucking check. He pays full price for everything."
Well, as millionaires should. I that always baffled my mind.
They're like, "No, we're gonna give him a free car ride." I'm like, "No, you're not. You're absolutely
always
not."
Baffled my mind. Like Derek Jeter, Johnny Damon, Aaron Rodgers, all of these guys come into places, and people just give them everything. They literally do, or you got people, the peasants of the world out here, including myself, that are out here working day to day. I want to buy Johnny Damon a beer. Why? The dude is your wealth 100 times over. He can afford his beer. If you want to show your appreciation, just say, hey, Jim, enjoy watching you. I bought tickets to go there. I mortgaged the house to get a hot dog and a beer to watch you play. I've always, but on the same token, I've done it. I bought a beer for a celebrity or a guy. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's a very weird dynamic, in my opinion.
It's funny. Last time I saw Johnny Damon didn't have his wallet on him. Go figure. Listen, just to get in a little bit, if you want to talk about some of the games that happened last night.
Let's dive into it. Enough chit chat. It's time to get down to business. It's Wednesday night. Jeffrey, take it home.
Yeah, so Knicks and Pacers, that series 3-2 now, heading back to Indianapolis. Knicks just absolutely blew the doors off of them. Jalen Brunson goes for 44, I believe. Hartenstein, 17 rebounds on the night, 12 offensive rebounds, ties the Knicks franchise record, tied with Charles Oakley. Ironically, is not allowed in the Garden and won't go back to the Garden for some time. So, listen, this is it's always a crazy series. I thought this series would go 7. I think it probably still will go 7. You did see a little bit of Miles Turner and Dante DiVincenzo getting into it. DiVincenzo saying nobody fights in the NBA. People want to act tough, but they're not actually tough. So, take your foul, shut the fuck up, and keep it moving. Listen, I couldn't agree more with him. I love.
He could also get ragdolled.
Yeah, but Miles Turner is also 7 foot water, whatever it is. Yeah. I will say this. I think that like I said, the series goes 7. Pacers will bounce back, win Game 6, and then you'll have Game 7 in the Garden, which is going to be interesting. I think this Game 6 is played on Friday, and Game 7 will be played on Sunday afternoon. So should be interesting as well. And then we got into the night game, and things got a little haywire there. I liked Minnesota. I think.
Well, let's go back to the Knicks real quick. Let's finish up with the Knicks Pacers. And to your point, the Knicks are just in shambles health-wise. For them to come out and play the way they did, to your point, Hartenstein just completely picking up the slack. Where, we saw earlier in the series, he had a lot of key turnovers and shots that missed that kind of, put the Knicks in a bad situation. So to see him to be able to work out those kinks and the fight that's in this team is quite impressive. And, this Indiana Pacers team is no slouch as well, but they are a younger team, right? They're kind of finding their ways. They're a run and gun type team. And if that run and gun isn't hitting or their 3-point shots are not dropping, which I think they had a really bad 3-point percentage, I think, last night, correct? I'm not 100% sure on that. It was on the second team, the Pacers.
The Pacers? Well, they shot 34. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Pacers from 3-point line shot 44%.
That's actually not bad. Every time I looked up, I just saw one getting donged off the back of the rim. So I was like,
the Knicks shot 34%.
Okay,
so still put up 121.
It's going to be crazy. It just goes. This is the type of NBA that I love. When people stop being friends and start getting aggressive, I love it. It shows me that they're actually playing for passion instead of a paycheck, which we've had numerous discussions on this. I think that, throughout the regular season and most of the NBA, they're paycheck players. They're just paycheck players. So to watch them come out and, that scruffle, right? That get out of my face, that I'm going to dunk over you. Like Ant-Man, which we're going to get ready to talk to, says, we love that shit. Keep talking. Well, didn't really back it up, Ant. But to your point and the bus point, Game 7, if it goes to the Garden, I don't know if it will. I think that the city of New York deserves it. I think they deserve a Game 7. Game 7 in the Garden is nothing like anything on earth in sports. I don't know. I think that I think Tom Thibodeau and Jalen Brunson has this team completely dialed in. When you get DiVincenzo, like you said, this fired up and he's knocking down threes, it's going to be a tough team to stop. It's going to be a great game Friday night. I'm really looking forward to it.
Unfortunately, and I do think that the Knicks will move on in this series. But unfortunately for them, they're going to have to go play Boston after. And if you think
I'll tell you what, though,
you have problems with depth now, wait till you go play the Boston Celtics.
Let's just talk about those Boston Celtics right now. They're up 3-1 against the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers did sneak one out. Mitchell didn't play the last game, which was just a complete. Which I looked at the lines on this and I was just completely baffled.
Yeah.
That it was 14 points when everyone is healthy, but it was 10 points without Mitchell. That doesn't make any sense to me, but it is what it is. The Celtics do take a stranglehold here, 3-1. LeBron James sitting courtside.
Yes.
That is a very interesting move on many different levels here. First level, I'm going to say, I don't think I've ever seen a superstar of LeBron's caliber who has been knocked out of the playoffs go to someone else's game. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong. I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life.
Tyrese Maxey was just at
Okay, I don't think that he's at LeBron's level of superstarish. I mean, what was
it
he
is
at a
interesting
game?
because he was just at a game last night as well too. I do think it's interesting because, man, on paper, that is the perfect fit for LeBron. You put him there with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland on the outside to go along with Max Strus, and they got shooters on the outside. They really don't have a playmaking guy that plays the 3-4 position like that. Evan Mobley can still stretch the floor. Jared Allen can play down low. It'd be an interesting spot to go back and what?
You got to have Bronny.
Yeah, it would be an interesting spot to go back and then have Bronny come to Cleveland and be able to have that moment together in a Cleveland uniform.
That would, in my opinion, that would
guy. I don't know.
As somebody that that's bounced around, obviously, I think that would be a storybook ending for LeBron.
Yeah,
I mean, go back to where it all started. Play with your son. I think that they're definitely in a position to win a chip. The East is way easier than the West. That team is deep. It's young. But my biggest thing is, at what point does LeBron say, okay, I'm not going to take $60 million because I can. I'm going to take $10 million.
Well, this is what we talked about.
$5 million, right? To be on that team and continue to build around me.
Yeah.
Right?
This is
for one last run.
Right? And does LeBron want $50 million a year? And the Lakers will give it to him if he wants it, because Jeannie Buss is desperate to continue to have butts in seats at Lakers games and to keep this business trying to thrive. And especially with now you're going to compete against the Clippers, who have more star power than you do, and a brand new arena going up as well. So there's a lot of factors that are all going into this. And yeah, I mean, does LeBron want to bring in more friends and try to, you're right, actually compete? Or is this more of I just want as much money. I want 3 years at $50 million a year and 3 years, $150 million for the last 3 years of my career. That's a question I can't answer. It's got to be on LeBron. We've seen some of the greatest of all time. Maybe not in basketball necessarily, but in other sports, take less money to improve their team. Let's see if
I just feel like you don't need to do much there, right? This Cleveland team, I mean, they've been out without their center the entire series.
Is that the Lakers have set this up by firing Darvin Ham for him to come back?
I mean, they're always going to do whatever it is. This could be just a complete ploy by LeBron James to, as you said, to get more leverage from the Lakers. You saw how he was, how he was welcomed, which I find it weird. I mean, what are we, 10 years removed from burning his jerseys? Now we're celebrating him on the court side. I mean,
he brought them a championship.
He did bring him a championship, but you still burned his jersey when he left you. So
not the second time.
Okay, well, I guess not the second time then. So yes, you're right. I think it'll be very, very interesting. I think that this Cleveland team is already stacked with a bunch of young talents. They probably have rookie contracts. They probably have the cap room. My biggest question is this: can we agree that drafting Bronny James is a wasted pick?
Did you see his combine numbers yesterday?
Or a very, very skeptical development pick?
Did you see his numbers yesterday at the combine?
I saw that he didn't do well on something, but he did great in 3 points or something of that nature. Or I caught like a little snippets. But basically, the one that did stick out to me that I saw is that he's been listed at 6'4" on all of his stuff throughout his entire college career, and he came in at just under 6'1".
So there's people said, because the 5-on-5, he only scored 4 points out of 70 players that were there. I believe he was third in shooting, ahead of a lot of huge names. I believe his vertical jump was a little over 40 inches, which put him right at sixth amongst 70 people. His shuttle was up there as well too. I want to say top 2 or top 3 as well in terms of his shuttle, and his half court sprint as well too. So listen, he's measurable wise. He looks really, really good. Like I said, it's tough. You get the 70 best recruits or best prospects that you have in the NBA. If you're number 3 in anything, I think that's a pretty good start. So
I would agree. I mean, with those types of numbers, absolutely, I would agree. I just feel like it, I can't remember who I was watching on Get Up the other day. Love Get Up. Shout out Grady and the cast over there. They were talking about how, it's just a stash pick. And they were talking about how a lot of people, even on their second round picks, they draft people from the European markets and they never even bring them overseas. They just leave them over there to develop. So, I mean, if we've learned anything from the NBA, it is that draft picks, while important, unless there's a huge generational talent within those top 5 picks, it's pretty much a crapshoot, which is why when players become at a superstar level, that teams are willing to trade 3 or 4 first round picks for them because they're already solidified.
Not in this draft. This is a super weak draft this year. I'll come out and say that. And I think if you're looking at a draft and you're saying, all right, it's not a great draft. Is anybody on here going to end up changing our franchise? Well, one player can change your franchise, and that's LeBron James. So if you want to, go ahead and draft Bronny and then try to work it out to get LeBron over there.
There's rumors out of Atlanta that Atlanta is considering taking Bronny with the number 1 pick. I mean, why? I mean, if it gets if it gets you LeBron,
deal, absolutely.
I don't think LeBron would like to play for Atlanta.
Why?
I just don't. There's just something about. I don't think that team is ready. I think that team has a ways to go. I think if LeBron is
Trae Young.
Well, they're talking about shopping Trae Young. So,
well, yeah, but that's one of the rumors is that Trae Young goes to LA. So instead of going to LA, what if Bron can go to Atlanta?
But you don't even need to trade him to get Bron, though. LeBron can opt out of his contract where you don't even need to trade for him. You don't need to give up the talent. All you got to do is
contract.
Huh?
I believe he's already announced that he's opting out of his contract.
I haven't seen it yet, but I mean, we all expected that anyway. But yeah, so anyway, let's get back to some real NBA playoffs here. So we did talk about the Pacers Knicks, the Thunder Mavs on tonight. Let's do the last 2 tonight games. Thunder Mavs tonight. Last game, Thunder come in and steal one away from the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic missed a free throw at the end, went 1 for 2 to not tie the game. Obviously, the Thunder still had a chance to come down. I didn't get to catch a lot of that game, but I did see like the first half, and the Mavericks were dominant. And I guess just the Thunder came back the complete second half. I just feel like that Thunder, while I do think that could go 7 as well, I just feel like the Thunder team is a little bit deeper. Now, do Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, I think, put up 28 points combined in that game. You're probably not going to see that low of production out of those boys again, unless Luka's still hurt, which he's hobbling around, right?
He looks bad.
He looks really, really bad. And maybe that's why he doesn't play defense, because he just doesn't have that kind of energy. We are heading back to Oklahoma City tonight, I believe, correct?
Yeah. So in this, it was interesting because Dallas shot 55% from the free throw line. I think they missed like 12 free throws or something like that. I mean, that's the ball game right there. Absolutely. Like make your freaking free throw. I was yelling about this with Minnesota last night. Make your free throws. Like, you're professionals. It's a free throw. And I know it's very easy for us to say, but it's
not. It's very easy to say. It's very easy to. And I'll tell you, there's another thing that just baffles my mind when it comes to the NBA's and free throws is the amount of time that they take to shoot a free throw. Like, just shoot it. Like, when you think about some of the best 3-point shooters and the spot-up shooters, like the Max Struses, the JJ Redicks, when were they at their best? When they were coming off of a screen, grabbing it and shooting, like not thinking about it. I feel like they just think about shit too much. Like, you're at there 10 seconds, you're closing your eyes, you're taking deep breaths. Whoo-sa! Like, just shoot the ball.
It's like golf, right? Like when you're playing golf and you're playing fast and you're playing There's nobody in front of you. You know, maybe you're by yourself. Maybe you're with another friend. There's only two of you, and you have a rhythm to it, right? Where you're just go, 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 go. That's when you play your best golf, right? I think it's this. No,
I'm with you. I was
Yeah.
just gonna say, I just wish they would shoot the ball. I feel like they take so much time, they put more pressure on themselves. By then, you give the crowd time to react. You give the time to elevate the noise level. Just shoot the fucking ball, bro.
yeah.
Just shoot
So
it.
listen,
And you're absolutely right. As a professional, you should be making 9 out of 10 every single time. And that's just my opinion. Unless you're big boy like Shaq, you know, and your hand literally dwarfs the ball. That's a little tough to shoot, I guess.
Yeah. Tonight, we are back in Oklahoma City tonight. Listen, that's going to be
the
rocking.
series.
Yes, that's going to be rocking. Give me Dallas to win tonight.
Yeah.
I just think it keeps just going back and forth like that. I think Dallas can win tonight to go up 3-2, have a chance to close it out at Game 6, and you know, put the pressure on OKC. So.
We'll see how the young team responds. That's for sure. A lot of talent on that team, young talent. It just amazes me that Chet Holmgren just stays upright. He looks like a good win. Gus is going to knock him down.
Like
Gumby. And to watch him like body people, I'm just like, okay, bro. Okay. All right. Yeah. The other game we got tonight is the Celtics Cavaliers. This one is in Cleveland, correct? I believe.
No, it's back in Boston.
Oh, it's back in Boston. So, this one's over. Call it the night. 14.5 is the spread. I do not believe. Is Mitchell playing? We don't know.
Questionable. You know, it just frustrates the you know what out of me is that the one time I bet this series was Game 2. Was it Game 2 or Game 3? Whatever game Cleveland won, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put $100 on the Celtics money line. Because there's no way Cleveland can compete with them. And then, yeah, I got kicked out of Gators Dockside.
You got kicked out?
Yeah. Anyway, long story short. Well, I wasn't kicked out. I voluntarily left before they walked up to the table and officially asked me to leave.
Were you screaming obscenities, Jeffrey?
They said that it was a family establishment and that I needed to watch my language. So
fair point, Gators Dockside. Thanks for keeping it clean out there and keep the public safe. Appreciate it.
Was outside. There was one other table out there.
Yeah.
Whatever. Guy's a pussy.
Anyway, the Celtics are obviously going to get this thing done and sit back and relax and wait for the Pacers Knicks, which is probably, as usual, could very well go 7. If it does, that's just bad news for the Knicks because they are just already gassed. They're injured. If that goes 7 and and Boston just sits around for another 5 days waiting for them, do they get Porzingis back for the next series? That's a big question I have.
They could absolutely. Did you get a chance to watch last night's game?
So last night's game was the Timberwolves Nuggets.
Yeah,
I watched the first half.
Another one where Jeff was wrong. You know, I'm like, you know what? Everybody's going to be on Denver. Let's be the contrarian here. We're definitely betting Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards is going to come out, just absolutely go crazy. He's going to play really, really well tonight. Karl Anthony Towns will play well, and Minnesota is going to take command of this series again. They haven't lost 3 games in a row all year long. No shot it's going to happen tonight.
I didn't like it. I definitely didn't like it.
You and everybody else told me I was an idiot. You know, Chad does this thing where Chad just walks up to me and looks at me and goes, "Really? You really are taking that? Good God!" And just shakes his head and walks off. And I'm like, "Okay, bro. Like, you know, I don't. Whatever.
I just feel like okay. So let's talk about this. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, obviously, they. So serious. The Minnesota Timberwolves obviously goes as far as Anthony Edwards takes them, correct? And you know, the Denver Nuggets, as we talked about, are just stacked. That is just such a deep team. When we look at this, we're talking about Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Jokic, Jamal Murray, Caldwell Pope, Holiday, Jackson. I mean, Braun, he putting in 28 minutes.
Not to mention the 3 officials on the court at one time as well too.
I will say this: the officiating in the NBA is probably one of the toughest jobs in the officiating world. I will say
Wildly
that
inconsistent.
it is absolutely terrible. It's terrible. It's like watching a baseball game with Angel Hernandez behind the plate. It's just terrible. You don't know what you don't know what's going to be called, what's not going to be called. I've seen just guys get absolutely raped driving the hoop and they call nothing. And then I see a ticky-tack foul being called a foul.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we've said this from the beginning, at least I have. I know that I don't care which way you call it. Like, I think it was the Knicks Pacers game. They were letting those boys play and they were consistent for the most part.
Yeah, perfect.
You exactly. Just, I don't care if you want to call it tight, but keep that same energy throughout the entire game. And if you're going to let them play, keep that energy throughout the entire game. I don't want to see shit getting called at 5 minutes ago in the fourth quarter that wasn't called the entire game.
Bro,
nobody wants to see that shit.
4 charges in a row. That was egregious.
Well, I'll tell you, the flop game too, man. Like I said, I mean, okay, so it's not, the flop game is across sports. I mean, obviously you can't really flop in baseball. You can flop in hockey, but usually you get some kind of contact in hockey before you start flopping. But basketball, I mean, you got I lay flop, man. It always comes to lay flop. I know he's not the only one. But like there's just been so many clips where like somebody like puts their hand in front of him, doesn't even really hit him. And then he's like, they throw the head back, they throw the arms up to get the contact foul. I don't know. I just feel like it's really, really tough for the NBAs to know what's actually a foul and what's not a foul.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want consistency. That's all I want. So
exactly.
That's all I'm asking.
Apparently, this game was not officiated consistently, in your opinion.
No, I don't think it was. And listen, I understand the Nuggets are going to be a much bigger draw, but I don't know. I feel like if you're going to ref,
you feel like there's an agenda.
Do you
feel like the NFL this is planned?
If you want this guy to be a superstar of the league, I don't know.
I don't think that they want Joker to be the superstar of the league.
I'm talking about Anthony Edwards. I'm talking about Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
I don't know. I felt like that it was just inconsistent. It could have been a lot better. My own personal opinion. Obviously, I'm watching it through a lens of rooting for one side as well too. So put a caveat on that. Now,
well, as somebody that doesn't really care which way it goes, I can tell you that it's just tough to watch bad officiating.
I thought that the lineup that they had at the very end of the game, and obviously this is tough without Mike Conley, but if Conley can come back, because they played without Mike Conley last night, but if they end up playing with Mike Conley, the lineup of Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, you having Naz Reid, Rudy Gobert, and Karl Anthony Towns on the floor at the same time gives you a ton of size. I thought they were rebounding a lot better by the end of the game when they ran that lineup. I just thought the fluidity was a lot better. The matchups worked out for them. You saw Naz Reid get to the hoop a few times to make some plays. I think that could work going forward, but you need a better shooter than Nickeil Walker-Alexander on the outside to go along with Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards can't go, 5 of 15 or whatever he went. I mean, he was not good last night at all. So, listen, we'll get Game 6 in Minnesota. I'm sure I'll be betting Minnesota again. I'm sure everybody else will be betting Denver. And that'll be it.
I don't think so. I think you're going to see the betting sides go a little bit more favored towards Minnesota back at home. Obviously, Joker puts up 40 points, but they won this game with Michael Porter Jr. only putting up 6 points. And Holiday was 0. It was the Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, Caldwell Pope, and Joker show. Now, Aaron Gordon, I know you don't like Aaron Gordon, and there's obviously an understory of why. But that man has been playing at another level this playoff series.
Yeah,
he has been very, very impactful on the defensive side. He's got a couple of those flying and slams. I mean, he's been playing absolutely at a high level this playoff series. And if you got him playing at that level to go along with Joker and Murray, and hopefully Michael Porter Jr. hits a few shots here and there, I just don't think that you're going to stop that team. I really don't.
Yep, I agree.
So I think that was it, right? That was it for. So tonight we do have the Thunder, Mavs, and the Cavs Celtics to turn in. So those will be very, very interesting.
Speaking of officiating, though, did you get a chance to catch real quick Caitlin Clark in her debut last night?
No, I sure didn't, and I'll tell you why. Because there was hockey playoffs, there was NBA playoffs on.
I watched the first quarter. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie. I did flip over at one point for like 5 minutes, and I watched her turn the ball over like twice.
Yeah, so she finishes 20 points. Her prop was 20.5. So if you took the under, you hit. If you took the over, you lost by the hook. 10 turnovers on the night. She didn't really catch her groove until the second half. The game was pretty much already out of reach, which I kept on looking. I'm like, man, how are they like? They're like 9-point underdogs. And of course, they get absolutely rolled. I think the WNBA has a problem. Now, let me say this.
Other than the obvious,
tickets to get into this game were like $150, right? So so it was $150 to get in the door. It's like $15 when it's not Caitlin Clark playing for the next Connecticut Sun game. I think there seems to be a backlash against Caitlin Clark, and to me, it doesn't make sense. And because she's only growing your game, right? She's only making it larger, but it seems like this old school women's basketball who feel like they paved the way for this are giving a little bit of a backlash toward her. And the way that she got officiated in the game has to change. You can't have people going to spend money or people tuning in to watch the game, and she gets 2 ticky-tack, terrible foul calls in the first 5 minutes of the game and has to go sit down until halftime. That cannot happen. Like, if you're going to officiate her on a bias, because they were letting them play a little bit last night, but every time Caitlin touched somebody, they called a foul. It was so weird to me. I'm not saying that you have to give Michael Jordan, LeBron James treatment, but I am telling you need to give her Michael Jordan, LeBron James treatment. People are here to watch her, okay? People don't give a damn about the product that's on the court. We're here to watch an individual. We're not really here to watch really good layup lines. Okay, WNBA, listen to me. Officiate her different than everybody else. I don't care.
Why do you think the old heads don't want to accept her?
I don't know.
Those people that paved the way.
You think it's political?
I don't know.
She's not down for the cause.
I don't know. I mean,
it's the only thing I could think of.
I'm sure that there's a lot of people in the world in the WNBA, which is obviously dominated by African American, probably I don't know, 95%, 80%. I'm just saying, I'm sure there's people out there that don't want to see Caitlin Clark, a white girl, as the face of the WNBA. I mean, you can say whatever you want. I could care less. I'm just saying.
Do you think if she was gay, it would
if she was gay?
Yeah, if she was gay, do you think she'd be more accepted by some of them?
Probably if she had a dick, she'd probably be more accepted. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I just feel like I don't agree with what you said as far as her being officiated differently, because you got to earn that shit. You can come in being the best superstar in the league. You have to earn to get those calls. Kobe didn't get those calls coming out at 19, and nor did LeBron at 19.
This ain't Kobe. This ain't LeBron. This is somebody who's trying to change your entire league. And
so you're telling me LeBron James drafted at 19 years old didn't change the entire league? Kobe Bryant didn't at 19 change the entire league? I agree with you.
Eventually they did, but the league would have been fine if they didn't come in, right? The WNBA...
Not according to the players. The players said if LeBron James and these certain players don't get their contracts to men, they leave, that the league is just going to dissolve. We've heard that numerous times at the NFL level. Look at the contract negotiations where they're talking about more money. They've come out numerous times and said, if you don't have us, you don't have a league. So
bullshit.
That has been a comment. Are you kidding me?
I don't care what the comment is. This is what I'm telling you. That's bullshit.
I agree with you saying that is bullshit. The league will always survive. If LeBron James decides not to play, if you took the top 15 NBA players right now and remove them from the league would still survive and the league would still thrive.
Tyson, what I'm saying is that if you took Caitlin Clark out of the WNBA right now, did you have any idea that it was opening night last night?
No, but
they're streaming Caitlin Clark games on Disney Plus.
Maybe that's why the old heads are getting so upset, because now all of a sudden everything's being thrusted in the light, because they went through the shit years, right? The bad years when it was $50,000 a year, whatever you want to call it. or being, relegated down to, no viewership, flying commercial airlines, and now all of a sudden this girl comes in.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden everything's blowing up. Now we
Everything's
have
chartered.
Now we have charter jets now.
Every single flight is chartered now.
Correct. So I mean, I guess I could see it, right? To somebody that's come into the league, hasn't really proven anything, and now all of these concessions are being made. I think that as an old head, I might get a little upset about it. I don't know.
What I'm
but
saying,
at the end of the day, when I looked at her game last night, though, I can see that there's going to be some transitional issues going from college to the WNBA, because I did watch her little highlight reel. I think it was on ESPN or something, watching the turnovers, and the passes that she made in college are not going to be able to be made at that level. Whatever.
She's not
that
the biggest girl too, so there's going to be a physicality issue that she's going to have to get through as well. That's why I'm saying people are paying 10x to go watch her play. People are actually tuning into games. Make sure she's on the court. Let's make sure that the product's there. That's all I'm asking for.
A foul is still a foul. We could have no bias. Let's talk a little bit about a couple of playoff games before we cap it off with a little PGA talk and transition right into the Gap Wedge Wednesday, boys. So with that being said, the NHL playoffs are in full force. There are a couple teams that just look like absolute juggernauts. First, let's talk about the New York Rangers, obviously winning 7 games in a row before having their first loss to the Carolina Hurricanes, who have now come back and 3-2'd it against them. Now, the Carolina Hurricanes are one of the favorite teams to win the NHL Lord Stanley Cup playoffs. With that being said, they do have a little bit of a hurdle coming. The Hurricanes are back at home for Game 6. I know that you've been watching some of it. I don't think that you've watched any of this series, though. However, I will say the New York Rangers are absolutely just really, man. They're just playing at a very, very high level. But I would be concerned if I was the New York Rangers fan after this, after starting 7-0, then losing the next 2, going back to the Carolina Hurricanes where they are favored -165. It's going to be something where now you have the last 2 games in Carolina. If this is a must win, the Rangers have to close it out here. Otherwise, it's over, in my opinion.
And that game is tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow at 7:00.
Yeah. So the problem is a lot of these earlier games I haven't really gotten a chance to catch just because I'm usually at work and hockey's not really on at work. They usually have basketball on. But I got a chance to watch.
I'm proud of you, though. Can I say that? Because we've been telling you for a while, like, Jeff, you got to watch it. And you're starting to dip the toe. You're starting to dip the toe in some hockey playoffs. And you watched a full game last night.
Well, to Paul's credit, he's right. I did watch Caitlin Clark's first quarter, so I didn't watch the entire game, but I did watch the last 2.5 periods of the.
Okay, so that's why you said the comment of they dominated, and he replied, "You didn't see the first period because they did look pretty bad the first period."
Yeah, and then I'm literally watching them, and they had like more shots on goal on a shorthanded, a penalty killer than they did on their power play that they had right after that. It was the weirdest thing. And the Panthers they look really good. They move the puck so well. They look much faster than everybody else on the ice. And yet, goalie just stood on his head multiple times last night.
He's coming up with hockey terminology.
What? To have the last 3.5 minutes with an extra man out, and the goalie pulled for the Panthers trying to get that last goal, and for Boston never to be able to get the puck in the net the other way, and for them to just continue to play defense the way they did, I thought it was really impressive. And hats off to them and Boston. That being said, I think Florida still wins that series. When it comes to the Rangers series, man, I think you're right.
Let's go back to that real quick. I'm sorry. You want to cap on the Rangers? Go ahead.
I was going to say the Rangers series. I think you're right, but I feel like if you're a Rangers fan, you should be confident enough to not think that we're going to lose 4 in a row. Now every game that you don't win, the news starts to get tighter, right? So yeah, it's tough. The sphincter gets a little bit more clenched.
Well, I think the main point is when you win 7 in a row, you're playing super loose, right? And to your point, you're super loose. Now you've lost 2. Now you're in danger of the last 2 games being in Carolina, games 6 and 7. And if you lose game 6, now you've lost 3 in a row. So you're saying you're that butthole is getting puckered tighter and tighter.
Yep.
Absolutely. And the game that he was referenced before was the Florida Panthers at the Boston Bruins, or I'm sorry, in Florida last night. I thought Florida would get it done. I really did. No Marchand for the Boston Bruins, but to your point and what they said, the Boston just had a little bit more fight at the end of it. Now we go back to Boston on Friday for game 6. That's going to be a tough win for Florida. That's going to be a tough win. I highly suggest Florida that you get it done there.
It's been a physical series, and we've seen, some pretty good fights as well too in this series. I do think I like Florida getting it done in Boston. I don't know.
I do as well. I feel like Florida's been knocking on the door the past 3 years. That's why they were my pick to win the Stanley Cup at the beginning of the playoffs. They've just been there for a while. They've been knocking on the door. They have the experience. Now, obviously, Boston is one of the most experienced teams as well. There's a different atmosphere in Boston, but I do believe that Florida gets that one done as well.
Yes.
One of the juggernauts that we've seen is absolutely the Dallas Stars. They've built a lot over the past few years, man. They've really built up a good team, but they hold a stranglehold there. Dallas 3-1. Now, I do believe, so that is tonight.
Tonight, 8:00.
Yep. So the Stars are looking to close that out. I agree. I think that they will close that out and get that series done and move on.
And then we had Vancouver and
Edmonton. Edmonton's a stacked team, but I'm telling you, I like the Vancouver Canucks. I know that they didn't get it done last night. However, they did tie it up late with like a minute to go, and then they gave up I do believe a goal with 30 seconds left.
Are we 2-2 now in that series? What's the
39 seconds left. They gave up the game losing goal. It is 2-2 on that one. As I said, I really didn't think that Vancouver could beat them. However, after my brief time up there, I met some really nice people, and I really loved the hockey energy around that town. There was happened to be a hockey game when I was there. There's a lot of hockey energy. So I'm pulling from the Vancouver Canucks here. They definitely have an uphill climb. That game is Thursday. I did not become a Canuck, but there is a little something in there. I will be a Blackhawk till I die, unfortunately.
I do like Edmonton in this series. I think it's fun.
Two of the best players in hockey on one team.
I mean, and NHL's going to love star power too, and I think that does carry over a little bit. So especially,
I'll tell you what, if they don't get past Vancouver, I can see a lot of coaches being fired. A lot of coaches being fired with that one.
As they should.
Now, PGA Championship this week, one of the biggest tournaments in the golf, which I'm sure the boys are going to be right now. We are in Valhalla. Tiger Woods is back on the course. I don't know if you saw any of his warm-up shots. He's looking pretty good. I think that's one of those things where we look at it, it's going to be one of those, can he walk? Right? What is his physical ability going to be able to let him do when it comes to that? So we shall see this week. Always a good week.
I saw this comment too. It's like, man, I just wish, Tiger just ran out of gas at the Masters, and obviously Augusta is a really tough place to be able to walk around because of, how much up and down there is and stuff like that. But there's a party that's like, Tiger, just play 9 holes to practice. I don't need you up at 3 a.m. every day, and I don't. So. Is what it is, but he's and who am I to tell Tiger on what to do or how to do it? Truly, I mean, the guy's just.
He has incredible. A few people on the payroll to help him out with that.
Yeah,
could be wrong though. Who do you like this week? Who's your big guy? Is Ludwig Elbert playing?
Of course he is. I'm trying to pull up. Hard Rock has changed around their
site's terrible to navigate. So Hard Rock, if you're listening,
they just did an update yesterday as well too. So I'm trying to pull up odds and.
While you're looking at that, let's talk a little bit. We had Rory McIlroy in the news once again for a couple reasons. The first one we're going to talk about is the Rules Committee, where he was not voted to come back onto the rules by his friends that he stuck up for, including Tiger Woods. I do believe it was Justin Thomas, but I can't say that for 100%. It was something along that, or Jordan Spieth, one of those two. And then also he announced he is getting divorced from his wife of 7 years. Now, this is obviously something that me and Jeffrey talked about on the pre-show in regards to the drama scene. because Rory stood on the hill, right? When PJ lived, he stood on that hill, and he stood on that hill for everyone. He was the outspoken one. He was the one that said, I hate everything about Live Golf. I will never play for Live Golf. I'm calling it now. In 2 to 3 years, Rory McIlroy is going to be on Live Golf, especially after being shunned off the rules committee. He's getting this divorce finalized before he gets his $100 million payday. That's just my crystal ball. I think that it's just, and you know what? It's sad. And I'll tell you why it's sad. Because when you stand up on a hill and you think that you got your boys and your people that are standing up with you, and then all of a sudden everybody kind of just starts taking a step back, and then a step back, and then a step back. Now you realize you're on that hill by yourself. And that's a cold place to be. Cold place to be. And his wife's probably pissed at him for not taking the $100 million plus deal, which is probably more than that, because if they offer Tiger 900, I would assume that Rory would be in the 450 range.
Well, no longer his wife, by the way, as well too. So that's another factor that's going to be in here as well. I'm looking at the odds right now, just off the top of my head, and a few guys who I think that we will probably be on. And I know we have about a minute and a half here before we got to bring the boys on. I think the boys are. I like Jon Rahm. I think Ludwig Aberg is definitely a play here. I could see a Cam Smith, Justin Thomas. It's going to be his home course. There is going to be a little bit of nostalgia there for him as well too.
But he's been playing like dog shit. Right?
It's so tough, and it's like, man, Scotty Scheffler's out there, So
what? He's got to be the favorite, right?
Scotty, yeah, plus 375.
That's actually not bad, but I wouldn't touch it. But that's
no, I'm good. Rory's like plus 600, and last time I think Rory's last major was actually here at Valhalla, I believe, at the PGA Championship, and it was almost 11 years ago.
If I've learned anything from watching Tiger Woods go through his divorce and the many other people that have gone through divorce, it's to never bet on them when they're going through divorce.
No. Fade.
As a matter of fact, if I could fade him to not make the cut this week, I think that would be a better play than him winning.
Well, last time he won, he did come off of winning a tournament too. So there is some history there as well. Maybe he's just going to be completely focused on golf. I don't know.
I don't know.
We're going to find out tomorrow. I get to watch Tiger Woods play golf tomorrow. So
do we get T2T coverage on this one? Where are my news outlets? What am I looking at here? Where can I watch this?
We will somewhere. Somehow, one way or another. ESPN, ESPN Plus will have everything on there. I'm sure you can probably go on Hulu if you want to. If it's not working, considering they're partnered up. It is funny to me too. We've completely. I know we don't have time for this, but we've completely jumped the shark and reverse engineered cable now, where like Comcast is going to be offering a package that's going to have like Netflix, it's like Netflix, Paramount, and like one of the other major streaming services together in a bundle for half the price of what you would pay initially. I'm like, what are we doing? It's absolutely
egregious what's happening right now with all of this. Like they were talking about the NFL package, right? Which, for those who don't know, the NFL schedule does drop tonight at 8:00.
Yes.
We've already announced some of the internationals. The Bears will be facing, I do believe, the Jaguars in London. Is that right? I don't know.
Might be planning a Chicago trip into September, Tyson.
Have fun.
You don't want to go?
No, I'm good. So what were you saying before that? Oh, the cable pack. So they're talking about like now this year, in order to get every single NFL game, you're going to be paying almost $900 a year. Between Sunday NFL Ticket, now you have to have Amazon Prime, you have to have Peacock now, and I do believe there was another streaming service as well that you are literally going to have 3 to 4 different streaming services just to be able to watch all of the NFL games. It's just egregious, man. I thought the same thing with MLB, right? MLB had the package. I bought the MLB package. Then they took certain games off, put it on Apple TV. So now I had to have Apple TV to see this. Then they put some on Amazon. You have to have Amazon on this. It's absolutely egregious. It's just Netflix will be showing the Christmas games. Yeah. So next you need a Netflix package as well. It's nickel and dime me to death, bro. I'm over here living paycheck to paycheck. Nickel and dime me. All I want to do is watch a little sports. I shouldn't have to go work for an entire week of my entire week's salary. Yes, I'm paraphrasing, whatever. Say you make $1,000 a year or $1,000 a week, which is still decent money in this day and age, I guess. I mean, struggle to get by with that. But so now you need to sacrifice an entire week of pay just to watch 17 games of football.
It's crazy. You got anything planned this weekend?
What is this weekend? No.
I'll be in Miami, the Lowe's on South Beach. If anybody's out there.
Enjoy. You can pay me enough to go to South Beach. Yes, I said that.
I'm not out on ocean, and we're not out there hanging out.
You're gonna be at Live, hanging out with Bronny.
I'm with my kids and my family, so probably not.
Guys, stick around. Gap Wedge Wednesday is coming up to get the breakdown on all of the PGA Championship numbers to give you the best picks for the week and hopefully increase your bank account. Until then, we will see you back here next Wednesday. Be sure to check out all of the NHL, the NBA playoff games, as well as MLB starting to heat up a little bit here. We might have to start getting into that a little bit. But if you are out driving over the weekend, which I was over the past weekend going to and from Tampa, please, for the love of God, stay out of the left-hand lane. You are absolutely killing the infrastructure of America, and you are the reason this country is in decline.
Be great.
Until then, everyone have a great day.